And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25, the show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. Dean Beckman joined once again by our co-host, Donnie Netto. Donnie's the Sports Information Director for St. Mary's. And today, Donnie, we focus on women's tennis. Women's and men's tennis because Jeff Halberg, our head coach for both, is on the program today. So Jeff, welcome to the show, and you're looking rather tan and relaxed, right? Coming off of the Orlando trip, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But you know, Jeff, this is kind of an anniversary year for you at St. Mary's, right? 20 years.
Yeah,
started
20
back in 1998. So my, how time flies.
Indeed, indeed. Donnie had more hair back then.
Yes, he did.
You're absolutely right. Working with people like Jeff, you know, a guy get a little grayer and I lose the hair. But you know, Jeff, have you had any chance to kind of look back and because it is amazing how fast the time goes. But you know, if you had to go back, what's the biggest change you've seen from your standpoint in terms of coaching? Not the game itself, but in terms of coaching. And what has been the biggest change for you from when you started here to now?
Well, part of it is just, you know, honestly, it's kind of a generational thing. You know, when I started out doing this at St. Mary's, I was 31 years old. And so, you know, I was a little closer to the, you know, and you know, college wasn't that far away from me. But of course now, I'm a bit of an old fogey, and so I, they say that coaching keeps you young, but it really depends on the day. You know, sometimes they age you quick, and sometimes you're feeling pretty young and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's part of. I think it's just that. It's just learning to kind of adapt to the new kids coming in and the things that they know and kind of sharing those differences and things like that, and yeah, makes it really interesting.
And I suppose, you know, I'm in the same boat in a way too, but how much has social media and really, it's going to sound silly, but cell phones have changed how you recruit, especially because now it's a little bit easier in that way, in that you can reach them where they're at. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about the changes there, because I know in the past, you know, when we started, cell phones were somebody's idea. Yeah. They weren't even around yet.
Yeah, that was Star Trek Dick Tracy stuff when we were kids. You know, yeah, I'm really. I mean, the nice thing is that if you have to reach somebody, or you've got something to share with them, something exciting that happens, whether you maybe put it on the Facebook page or you reach out to them with a text or whatever it might be. You know, I can reach one of my recruits in moments, so that's nice because you can always kind of stay current with them, and you don't lose track of them, those types of things. So, and you know, you're able to keep them more up to date on what's going on with the team too, and make them feel a part of things. So that's a very nice change that's gone on.
And I'm wondering too, does it impact how you communicate with your current team at all? Not just recruits, but the players that you have here now.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, especially with you know, the facility we have, and we have a fantastic facility down at the Winona Tennis Center. But you know, we work with a lot of different people to juggle a few balls in the air to make sure that we have court time and court space. Because we were sharing it with Winona State. Obviously, I have two teams that I'm working with. And you've got the members of the club, and so there are days where I might contact them, you know, 45 minutes before practice and say we're delayed 15 minutes, or we're gonna switch by half an hour or whatever, and of course I can just text them and they immediately, you know, they're like, okay, got it, coach, and they're back. So if you have to make adjustments, it's not a big deal, and the players are used to it. They understand that one of the things about the facility is to make it work. We have to help out as well. That it's not just our facility, but it's a facility for the community, and so we have to work to help each other out to make it comfortable for everybody, and it works. But yeah, being able to contact my players at a moment's notice is very useful.
You know, talk a little bit more. There was a question I was going to ask you about the facility. You know, you look at a lot of schools and they've got to travel quite a ways just to practice for an indoor facility. We have one right here in Winona, a great facility there. Talk a little bit about the advantages that has for you and for the Cardinals.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it really is home for the players. They feel a bit of ownership to the club, and I think that we get a little support from the community and things like that. Winona's obviously not a huge town, but the tennis community is a knowledgeable community, and they appreciate us. And I think we try and give back a little bit as well. But yeah, you know, I count my blessings with it, because there are so many schools like up, you know, some of our rivals in the Twin Cities, where from one home match to the next, they're playing at different clubs. You know, one time they're playing at Baseline, the next time they're playing in Lakeville, the next time they're playing at White Bear Lake. I play the same place every time. I never have trouble getting home matches, because people love to come here, especially early season when their, you know, accessibility is really difficult. We haven't got that problem, and so people are like, yeah, when do you want to play? And so it's really a nice advantage from that point too.
If you could, Jeff, we might as well kind of dive into the season a little bit. I know you're not even to the halfway point yet. It sounds kind of funny. We're in March and we're talking halfway point for tennis. But on the women's side, how have things been going so far?
It's going really well. You know, we had a couple of hiccups. We've had some minor injuries, and we've also had one kind of sickness early season that we had to make some adjustments on a road trip. But we've played some very good competition, and I feel very good about where the team is right now. So you know, the plans that we made when we started the season are still there before us to earn. So we're feeling good about where we're at, but we still have a lot of those matches to play to prove that we're as good as we think we are. So.
You know, I was going to say just a couple of seniors on that squad, but they seem very tight-knit. I had a chance, as I told you, to ride up to a Timberwolves game with them in the van, and just a really, I think, classy group of young women on that team.
Absolutely. Honestly, I mean, I've obviously had a lot of teams over my years, and every team is different. It always has a little bit different temperament, with new people coming in and other people leaving and stuff. But I've kind of had a mainstay group here for, you know, the past 3-4 years, and they've just been amazing. I mean, they kind of police themselves in a sense that they're very hardworking. I mean, I think Matt Sager sometimes, you know, wonders if where things are at, because the captains take care of the workout stuff. I follow up, but you know, they're always telling me about what a great workout they've had and stuff like that. So I think that Matt sometimes is wondering, does Coach want to know what's going on? And I'm like, I know what's going on. The girls are telling me every time. You know, they let me know, but they're the ones that have really pushed that envelope and gone beyond. And I've actually had parents coming up to me and saying how fit and tough the gals are this season, that they've shown that building and stuff. But so much of it has been their own hard work, and they're just a very welcoming group. Everybody, you know, like the freshmen that have come in this year, they love the team. They just absolutely, you know, feel a part of it from day one.
Now we're going to have Laura Sonday in the program a little bit later here. So tell us about Laura. What should we know about Laura before we have her on the program in a few minutes?
Well, Laura is. She's really special in a lot of ways. She has an amazing temperament. She's a great leader. She's got a great sense of humor. She knows when to push hard and when to kind of make things light a little bit for the gals. And the players absolutely love her and respect her. And you know, and she really passes that back to them. There's a great mutual admiration that goes there. But she really earned it. She works very hard. She's very inclusive, and that just makes my job so much easier. I've just got fantastic captains, but really everybody on the team, contributes. But Laura's just got a very good feel for how to motivate her team, while at the same time making things fun as well. So
before we get Laura on the program, let's switch things over to the men's side of things. What are you seeing there from them about halfway through the season here?
Kind of what we expected. We've given. We knew that the later part of the season, we've got some matches that we definitely are competitive in, that we have a chance to win, to push in the conference. We kind of went heavy on the front end. But the idea behind it, of course, being that after what we've faced, we're ready for anybody that we face, coming up. So I think we're well prepared. So we just gotta make sure we stay relatively injury free. We've had these little unlucky things that it's only one player at a time, but it's like, oh, now he's out. now he's
It
out.
snowballs, doesn't
Yeah,
it? It's
and it's
contagious.
just one guy gets better and the other guy goes, oh, coach can't go today, and but they're all those things are minor, and I feel confident that when we get to that last part of the season, we're going to be ready to
I
go.
think that your schedule is almost deceiving if you just go by records because of the way that you schedule it. You look at both the men and the women. You've got the top of the conference, and you look at the coaches polls, and you've already played those teams. So sometimes when you look at that record, it doesn't really speak to how talented your teams are, because you are playing the cream of the cream when it comes to the MIC, and in tennis. Yeah. That cream is extremely good. So
Very
I think you're really right in that there's so much yet to look forward to with both the men's and women's teams in terms of conference play heading down the stretch.
Yeah, and that's honestly that you asked the question about how things have changed. I'll tell you one thing that has changed. As good as the conference has been over 20 years, it's staggering. It's right now. It's the level of play throughout the conference is very high. But that speaks volumes for our players that they're going toe to toe with people and stuff, because it's very good.
One of the things I noticed, if you look at your rosters, that the women's team it seems like you have a nice mix: seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen. On the guys' side now, next year you're going to have some work to do, because you do graduate a lot of seniors with this class coming up this year.
I do. Yeah, a lot of great guys, a lot of leaders. And they all take a turn at it, so they all have their skill set that they really bring to the team, and that'll be an interesting challenge. Those things happen. It's college sports, and you can't keep people forever. But I'll miss the seniors, because they're just a very reliable, hardworking bunch. But it'll be exciting times for the young guys, because I literally won't have a senior in the team next year, and so it'll be very interesting to see how that that adjusts, and how the guys that, like a couple of sophomores on the team, that suddenly they're like, I got to take over the leadership role now. It's about now we got to take that spot on. So
Jeff, before we let you go here, tell us about the Orlando trip a little bit. You're fresh back from that. Was it all business, or was there a little sand and Magic Kingdom in there too?
Well, there was sand. There was certainly sand. They
No
skipped
castles,
the Magic Kingdom. Yeah, no Magic Kingdom, but. We couldn't have asked for better weather. It was amazing, and I've been there quite a few times. But it was mid-80s every day. The USTA built a new national training center that's absolutely, it's just mind-boggling. They've got 100 courts, clay and hard courts, and just amazing facilities. So it was a lot of fun for the players to be able to be there and to play on those facilities and things. So. And we had a little fun too. We actually did a mixed doubles night where we all mixed in that way. And oh my gosh, they just had a blast. It was so much fun.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Halberg, our men's and women's tennis coach at St. Mary's University. Thanks for being on the show. Good luck the rest of the year here.
Absolutely.
All right, stay tuned to the Cardinals Nest. We'll have Laura Sonday on next on HBC.
At Midtown Foods, we know it's not just about getting groceries. It's about friendly faces, fresh produce, quality cuts of meat, and experienced employees. We know because we shop here too. Midtown Foods, Winona's largest locally owned grocery store, downtown Winona.
Don't miss out on highlights and score updates from your favorite local college and high school athletics by following HBC TV 25 Sports. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get up-to-date information on all the games covered by the HBC sports team. Grab your smartphone and add us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at HBC TV 25 Sports.
And welcome back to the Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. This week our focus is on tennis, and we have Laura Sonday on the program. Laura is a junior tennis player on the women's team from St. Paul, right? A junior. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Laura. I know you've had family members that have gone to St. Mary's University. So tell us about your time in St. Paul, growing up playing tennis, how you got started playing tennis, and then why you eventually came to St. Mary's, where you're double majoring, right, in marketing and Spanish.
I am, yes. So I'm from West St. Paul, and I went to South St. Paul High School. So ever since I was little, I've been in the South St. Paul tennis programs, and my dad's an avid tennis player. As you mentioned, some of my family members went to St. Mary's. So both of my sisters graduated from St. Mary's, and then my mom went to the master's program at St. Mary's. So it's kind of a family school. So I think I always kind of knew I was going to go to St. Mary's, but I wanted to pretend I was going to be different from my sisters, make Coach sweat a little bit, thinking I wasn't going to go here. But
So were
yeah.
you always the little sister tagging along on family weekends and things like
Yes,
that?
yes, I was indeed, yeah. Some going to some of the classes were kind of boring for me at the time. Now they're a lot more interesting.
Right,
But
right.
yeah.
So why marketing in Spanish? What do you hope to do with that eventually?
You know, I'm not exactly sure what I hope to do with it. Every time I say marketing in Spanish, people always tend to focus on the Spanish aspect and say, you know, you're going to be able to use that a lot. And I'm really hoping that I can. I'm hoping to work maybe for a marketing firm of some sort and just kind of get my bearings and be able to have both of those languages, English and Spanish, to go along with whatever
Well,
I
maybe
choose.
at the end of the interview, Donnie can ask you some questions in Spanish.
Did
I really?
Oh,
I had
no,
idea.
please don't.
I didn't think he spoke Spanish, so I wasn't worried about it.
I can say hola. I know that much. Laura, let's talk a little tennis.
Sure.
As Dean said, you're a junior now. Take me back to freshman year, because you got thrust into playing #1 singles from basically the get-go. How has things changed for you in terms of being a freshman here, and now you're a junior and really one of the leaders of this team?
I think so. Freshman year, you know, it was obviously a bit of a throwing to the wolves in our conference, because as you guys know, we have a very tough conference in terms of the MIAC. So freshman year, I think I was a lot more hesitant in the way that, you know, I carried myself on the court. I tried to be a good leader for the team, but as a freshman, you know, you're just kind of getting your bearings. I think as a junior, it's a lot easier for me to help the younger athletes on my team. I'm very lucky to have a very good freshman doubles partner, which I think playing together kind of helps us both. Her kind of get, you know, into the feeling of being on a team, and me kind of just remembering to take it slowly and be in the moment, because I know that those kinds of things are important.
And you never have to look at the lineup, right? You always know that Laura Sonday is going to be in the #1 singles and the #1 doubles. 49 straight matches at #1 singles. That's pretty impressive. Obviously, you're comfortable in that position?
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty comfortable at it. I've always been very competitive. My senior year of high school, I actually tore my ACL, so I had to play with the men's team. And I became even more competitive at that point. So coming into St. Mary's, I think, you know, my freshman year, there was a senior that had played one ever since she had been a freshman. And although I felt a little sad having to, you know, compete against her like in that aspect, it was really nice for me to be able to hold the spot.
I was going to ask you about that. I did see on your questionnaire that you know, your greatest personal sports moment was playing with the guys. How did that help you? What was the biggest difference between playing on the girls' high school team and on the boys' high school team?
Sure. So I think one of the things is girls play with a lot more strategy, boys play with a lot more power. So I think that definitely helped me in terms of the MIAC, because we have a lot of powerhouses, you know, Gustavus, St. Thomas, Carleton, everybody's got a good #1. So I think playing with them helped me figure out different styles of play. And I mean, they were great. So it was an awesome experience for me.
Can you kind of talk us through the strategy of playing? Because, you know, most people will think tennis, where you go out and you hit the ball over the net. And if they hit it out and hit it into the net, you get a point. But there is a lot of strategy to a match. Can
Yes.
you kind of take us through how you prepare for each match, or how that strategy changes between matches?
Sure, yeah. So ever since I was little, it's funny that you say the thing about just hitting over the net, because my dad's always said, okay, just hit the ball over the net, that's it, you know? But it does take a little bit of strategy, and I think looking ahead, seeing what opponents I have, having played one the last couple of years, I kind of know some of the strengths and weaknesses of some of the ones in the MIAC. So it does take a lot of strategy. I mean, you know, sometimes you're just too tired to keep hitting the ball that hard, so you do kind of got to play moon ball or something like that.
Go back to the basics.
Yes,
right?
exactly. But in terms of strategy, I think sometimes you just have to trust yourself. I mean, I've been playing for long enough to where I can kind of direct the ball the way I want to, even without thinking about it. So it's just kind of, you know, depends on the day, depends on the player, and depends on how I'm feeling too.
Now, and Laura, a lot of success. As I look at the stats here, you're 10-4 in singles, 11-3 in doubles this year. So maybe talk about the success you've had this year. Any surprises from your standpoint, or how has this year gone from your perspective?
Sure. So I think this year has been probably my most confident year so far. Our team started doing a lot of lifting with Matt Sager. We did a little bit last year, but especially this year, we all feel stronger. We hit the ball harder. You know, we get to keep our legs down, which I think is something that we have definitely improved on. In terms of doubles, I am very lucky to have Colleen Loyce. She carries the team for sure. And she knows doubles, and we're both pretty level-headed. So, you know, when the other one gets upset, it's easy to calm each other down and stuff like that. But I think in terms of singles, it's just coming from experience at this point. Now, you know, I used to be the young number one, but now other people are that. So I think in terms of, you know, this year we beat McAllister, and I ended up beating the number one from Bethel, which is something I've been trying to do since freshman year. So that was nice.
Well, and Donnie brought up strategy earlier. How about the transition from singles to doubles? I would think that would be very difficult. You've got to be much more aggressive, of course, in singles, and then in doubles, you have to play off of your partner. So talk about that transition between the two.
Right, so I think it was a huge transition for me too, because in high school, I only ever played singles. But coming here, we play doubles first and then singles, which I think is a nice way for us to get focused. It brings a lot of pressure off of me, especially with Colleen being as good of a player as she is. I feel a lot less stress when I play doubles, so that when I get to singles, I can actually just kind of focus on what's going on rather than being worried about, you know, if we happen to lose doubles, well, if I lose my singles match, what happens? You know, we could lose the whole match. So I think the transition does take a little bit sometimes, especially, you know, if we're playing good teams and we end up going down, you know, we're losing at that point. But I've gotten more used to it over the years, I think.
Okay.
Is it really an advantage for you being able to play with Colleen every match? I mean, we talk about you always being at number one singles, you're at number one doubles, and you've got the same partner. You're really the only two on the team that have played together for every match. Is that an advantage? And if so, how is that advantage for you guys?
I think it's definitely an advantage because we have learned what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. I know that if I hit a good ball, she's going to put the ball away. And having been her partner all year, I think she's definitely picked up on some of, you know, the way that I play and vice versa. So I think sometimes when you throw a new partner in there, it kind of throws off people's games because, you know, you might play the other side of the court, or one person might have a better serve that you didn't expect or something like that. So with Colleen, I always know what to expect. She's always going to do her best, and I'm going to try to do my best for her.
We asked Coach Halberg when he was sitting in your spot to talk a little bit about you and you know what he's found to be your strengths and weaknesses. Now you get to turn the tables on him. Talk about Coach Halberg and what he brings to the table. We joked with him. He's been here for a long time. This is year 20. So you know what from his junior number one singles player. What is there about Coach Halberg that makes him so successful?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that Coach definitely does is he tries to make sure that when you're doing well in a match that he doesn't overcomplicate things. So when he comes out to you, you know, he'll just give you the fist bump instead of trying to, you know, make you think too much. Another thing is when he's watching people, he very easily picks up on what their strengths and weaknesses are. So I know we had a match where one of our girls was down and he had told her something, and then as soon as that happened, she started winning the match. And it's just things like that where you have that 20-year experience that people that don't have that aren't going to pick up on those things. So that's definitely really nice to have.
Coach Halberg also talked about how independent the women's team is with workouts and holding everyone accountable. Maybe talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, so I think we've definitely grown in that way. I think there are times when obviously we're all super busy with school and we're all in a lot of other extracurriculars other than tennis. But I think holding each other accountable and having that independence makes it easier for us because we don't feel like we're being forced to do it. We spend a lot of time together, so just adding another workout to do together isn't too difficult.
Before Donnie closes this interview out with a couple of questions, Laura, I had the joy of riding in a van with you not too long ago, and one of the things I learned is that you're quite the NBA fan, aren't you?
I am.
Especially
I am a
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves
You're
fan.
very knowledgeable about that. So how did that all happen, and what do you love about the Wolves?
Oh, geez. I love going to live sporting events. I think they're a great time. And especially with basketball, with so much happening all the time. When I was little, we used to go, to the games for our little camps and stuff like that. So I think I've just liked it ever since.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, my questions are pretty tame, and I won't make you answer them in Spanish.
Good,
Although I
thank
did think
you.
about that.
Thank you. Sorry,
First off-
Dr. Reed and Dr. Black.
First off, talk a little bit. I had asked Coach Halberg during the break, when you guys were in Orlando, you had the opportunity to play on clay court.
We did.
What was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, we did that once when we had gone to England, but other than that, I actually had the opportunity to play mixed doubles with my dad because he helps out with the team and he came to Florida. So that was awesome. I mean, being at the National Center and being in a place where tennis is just loved by everybody that's there was phenomenal.
And the last question, I'm not sitting here anymore. Roger Federer is sitting here. What would you ask Roger? What would be the one question you would like to ask Roger Federer?
I think I would ask him why he loves it so much, why he gets up every day wanting to still do it, because he's about 36, I think. So asking him.
She went like this at 36, like that's old for something.
That's old for professional tennis. So I would definitely ask him that, and just kind of how he keeps going and keeps his morale up, because that might be something that's pertinent to even our D3 team.
All right, Laura Sonday, thanks for being on the show today. Good luck the rest of the year here.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for this segment. Stay tuned. Donnie and I, when we come back, we're going to talk about one athlete who just left for the NCAA Nationals, and we'll also talk about a pitcher on the baseball team who was the MIAC Pitcher of the Week. That's next here on HBC.
Join us for a new episode of Explore the Outdoors with HBC. In this episode, we head indoors to be like the Olympians and try out curling. Then we hit the fields and go hunting for sheds. Don't miss out on this episode when it airs Sunday through Tuesday at 5 p.m. only on HBC TV 25. Explore the Outdoors is brought to you by the Centerville Curling Club.
Hi, I'm Sean Van Gundy, Broadband Installation Manager for HBC. I have been volunteering for the St. Charles Boosters Club for 6 years now. I enjoy volunteering because I love the sport of wrestling, and I love the passion and excitement of the kids. Youth programs like the Booster Club provide valuable skill sets that will benefit all kids that participate. Not only do we work here, we live here, and helping build our community is important to us because HBC is people in your community.
Back to wrap things up on the Cardinals Nest, Donnie, Becca Dupe, triple jump heading to the Nationals this weekend.
Yeah, what a great honor for Becca. She made it to the Nationals. Her jump, 11.74 meters, is 12th in the country, so she's looking to bump that up, 4 places to get to the top 8 and be an All-American, and certainly has the ability to do that. And we wish her all the best in Birmingham, Alabama, and hopefully she'll come back an All-American.
And the baseball team has a pretty good young pitcher, don't they?
Yeah, James Green, pitcher of the week after going 14 innings without giving up an earned run. He had 13 strikeouts. A great first 2 performances from him, and I know that Coach Winicky and Coach Oakes are looking for big things from him and the rest of the pitching staff this season.
All right, we'll let you know how Becca does on next week's program. That's going to do it for this Cardinals Nest. Thanks so much for watching here on HBC TV 25.